Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Serving Nerve, where we talk about whatever we want, and today we're going to be going through more fat acceptance cringe compilations. Now, quick thing, got a ring light, tell me if you like the lighting more. It is nighttime right now outside, and it does look a little bit better, and I think that the overall camera quality is going to improve as a result. I also have myself a lovely little homemade pina colada, so that's a vibe. And on top of that, my people, there is a new Patreon video out. I've started putting a little bit of content out on the Patreon. It's called Stop Fat Shaming in 2024, and it's me breaking down this like spoken word PSA slam poetry kind of vibe. And I just love breaking it down. So if you want to check that out, it is a Patreon exclusive. And if you are not inclined to subscribe to the Patreon, it's all good. I post most of my content up here anyways. I just figured if you're going to be going on to Patreon and you're going to be throwing bones at me, I may as well throw you a couple of corpses back. So you know what? Outside of that, let's just get into it. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. The comment here says, how about stop using food as a safe place or cope and go to a psychologist so you guys can stop stuffing food into your mouth. And, you know, people who do have issues with emotional eating do need to go through typically some form of like cognitive behavioral therapy to kind of like alleviate that kind of situation or help kind of work through that situation. But I personally don't think these comments are super effective. It usually just makes people more combative, saying that you put anything on the internet, expect to be judged. That's my opinion.
No idea what you're talking about.
My boyfriend's new apartment hates fat people. This is the kitchen. This is the fridge. Oh, let's go. Oh, it opens from the other side. Oh, can't fit here. Oh, every time you want to go to the fridge. So I guess what we could do is we can just like open it the other way, right? And then sneak in while it's open. Here we go. Oh! Every time you want to go to the fridge, you have to be reminded of how fat you are. This apartment hates fat people. This is an apartment in LA. LA is fat phobic. And every time you go to the fridge, it calls you fat. It makes it harder for you to get to the fridge. That is fat phobia in its purest form.
I just need to tell you guys, one, if LA is fat phobic for their apartment sizes or anything like that, then New York is fat shaming hardcore because their apartment sizes are, I think, the worst. On top of that, it doesn't even look like a normal person can get through this like gap. It's a massive design flaw overall. I mean, I would struggle to get through that, and I'm pretty flat all over. It's just a massive design flaw. Like, it's just a really poorly placed refrigerator. It looks pretty bad. Like, in general, most people will struggle with navigating through this, but the design flaws are not intended to probably, like, demean fat people. It's just because whoever made this room and whoever designed this room was not particularly smart. So that's just my opinion, though.
A part of fat sexual liberation is unlearning harmful, socially ingrained behavior, and knowing as a person who is fat deserves more than what society has led us to believe we do.
Yo, get that bread. Or get that breed. I don't care. But one thing I do have to say is that I personally think that the concept of being like, you know, a liberationist of sexuality in any capacity, being sexually liberated, is not useful whatsoever. You should never be ashamed for your sexuality. You should never look down on yourself for, you know, your sexual preference or anything like that, or wanting to be more sexual in society. But personally, I don't think that in the wake of gaining benefit or breaking out of the system, being hypersexual or being a liberationist of sexuality is gonna get you anywhere. You can do what you want, but I just don't think it's gonna do anything. And the other thing I do have to point out is society will judge you no matter who you are or what you have involved with yourself. If it's not for being fat, it's for being ugly. If it's not for being ugly, it's for being short. If it's not for this, it's for that. If it's not for the other, it's for your mother. Like, it just doesn't matter. Most people are going to find something to judge you and discriminate against you with, like, or discriminate against you for. Sorry about that. You know, the pina colada's already got me, you know, foggy in the skull. You don't have to combat society. You can literally just do your thing, and it already combats society. I don't know, man. I just don't really think it makes any sense. Generally speaking, I just don't see it as, like, a bigger thing nowadays. It's not like showing your ankles is gonna make people retch at you anymore. It's like, people are already pretty sexual in society, so just do your thing and deal with it. Like, I just don't understand like what you're combating. Like you can just do what you want anyways. Go bang whoever you want and it doesn't matter. Like find people, they'll probably be attracted to you. If you're a human being and you're able to fornicate, you're gonna find somebody. Somebody out there is gonna be going for you. So I don't know, man.
All I'm saying is, if you invite me to a cookout, please have fat-friendly chairs, because I am not trying to crush your $5.99 Walmart plastic chair.
Girl, I just stand. If I'm insecure about like breaking something, I would just stand. Oh my god, there was this one time I got hammered at a birthday party.
Them are like nightmares for fat people, so please do not have them. If you do have them, please let me know in advance so I can bring my own chair. So, yeah.
She is saying, like, I can bring my own chair, so I don't really see it as, like, you have to accommodate for me, I just need to accommodate for myself, please inform me prior. It's a little bit less, like, terrible than other things I've heard, so I'm kind of like, it's not that bad, man.
Have them, please let me know in advance so I can bring my own chair. So, yeah. These are definitely a no-no. We make the legs scream. But we do like these because they're sturdy. We hate these because as soon as you sit on them, they feel like you're about to fall. But we like these too. So, yeah.
I also have to point out, she is giving you a list of chairs, so you can even point out which ones you have. I mean, this is actually pretty well planned. Like, I can't even be mad at this. Like, she's kind of thinking ahead, my dudes. I don't know. Like, am I insane, or is this actually kind of like a big brainism, like a fat big brainism, you know? I don't know. I'm not really offended by this. I think people should be able to accommodate for themselves when they go to certain gatherings, so I feel like this isn't a penalization, and somebody who's like, you know, running the gathering can just tell you, yeah, I don't have those chairs, or yeah, you're all good. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this shouldn't have ended up on a cringe compilation. Like, I get why. It's kind of cringe, but it's not that bad, you know? It's not like bingeable cringe.
It's not the fact that there's no good women left. It's the fact that we're all fat.
Okay, so basically the comment here is there's still good women left. We're just big girls. And I have to point this out. I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I don't know. I think everybody can be like human trash at any weight. I don't know.
It's not the fact that there's no good women left. It's the fact that we're all fat. Yes, the best women are the fat. I'm not talking about this cute little chunky or little thick chick. No, I'm talking about the big girls. Okay, the big girls, like the 3X girls. Okay? Obviously you can't trust a skinny cook, so you know we gonna keep you fed, baby, with the good food.
Yo, baby, I gotta tell you, I'd probably be considered inferior regarding, like, my body size compared to an XL-ism. But I gotta tell you, my people, I can cook. And that's the only thing I've got going for me. I'm cringe in every other capacity, but if you tell me to make something, I can make it. I made this cheesecake the other day, and oh my god, I'm not gonna tell you the story about the antics of the cheesecake, but I made this cheesecake the other day, right? And I'm kind of hammered while I do it, you know, I'm not really there. And I bring it to my manager for his birthday on Sunday, and I give it to him, and he ate the whole thing. It was just a classic cheesecake, and then it had a raspberry lemon compote, and he was like, bam, he ate the whole freaking cheesecake, bruh. Like, I feel like the only thing I can do at this point is cook and edit videos. A skinny chef, I don't know, dude. You just don't eat as much as you cook. Like, personally, like if I did eat the amounts of food that I cook, I would definitely be, like, super morbidly obese. Like, I cook a lot and I bake a lot. That's why sharing is caring and not physically despairing.
Keep you warm during the winter time. We real soft to hold and to hug on. I'm serious. You just gotta marry you a big woman, okay? Come on to the dark side.
Just remember that weight is only a number, not something to be embarrassed of. You know, you shouldn't beat yourself up about your weight and, like, demean or belittle yourself as a result of such, but I feel like being embarrassed about having issues that are perceived as issues around, like, self-control around food, because that's commonly, like, associated with being overweight, is having issues with, like, you know, controlling yourself around food. I feel like it's kind of understandable to feel that way, and sure, you don't have to feel that way, but I feel like it's a completely justifiable level of thought or feeling to have regarding something that you feel is physically out of your control. There is shame to having, like, a lack of control. There's shame to having, like, a lack of, you know, ability to control yourself or control your body. Like, that is a thing that people feel embarrassed about, shamed about, you know, they question what's wrong with them, and they shouldn't feel that way. They should know that they have the power instead to change for the positive. There are worse things than being fat. If they not hurting you, then worry about yo damn self. Dude, I can't handle bad spelling. You know, I don't even care what people think or say or do anymore. I literally just want somebody to spell a sentence without having, like, you know, slang in there. And I love slang. Like, don't get me wrong. I love slang. Like, I dig it. It's pretty hot. But, like, I want people to be able to appropriately write. Like, write properly. Like, I feel like we've just gone way out of control with, like, not being able to spell any words. You know how many times I go on a TikTok and they use the wrong there or the wrong your? Like, it is way too common. And some of them are, like, fully grown adults who are, like, raised and born in America, and it's like that's their first language and they have no excuses. I'm calling it out, okay? It's one thing if it's like a second language, because English is, like, really complex, confusing as hell, whatever. But I swear to God, I freaking hate when people can't spell. You want to trigger me? Don't give me a fat acceptance compilation. Just give me bad writing and spelling. Honestly, that'll get me going any day. My big girlfriend can't fit in my car.
Hold up. Wait, hold on. Why you can't? Oh, you gotta at least open the door. What's going on?
Oh, not bad.
I mean, God.
You want me to get the door for you?
Yes.
Oh, you could just sit down. Excuse me. Hold my hand. Not bad. Let me get the door for you. I might get right inside. All for you. Right in there. All for you.
Wait, I can't get in. I cannot fit.
Put the foot up.
Mister,
All right, let me
please.
help you. Hold on. So, put this foot right here. Get that foot. Put that foot right there. Put this foot up.
No, put the foot in.
No, the foot. I said the foot. Get the foot.
This is obviously very fake. There's no way that this is a legitimate thing. But it's kind of annoying and also somewhat depressing. Like, there are people who cannot fit in cars, and that sucks, dude. That literally sucks. Especially if you're in, like, America or something. Like, you need to be able to drive everywhere. There is nowhere you can get away with public transportation from what I've found in America. Maybe in, like, a major city, but, like, you know, I don't know, man. Most of the time, I've needed a car to get around.
I got the food. Put your foot up and walk. Put the other leg. Put up. I got the food. I got the food. I got the food. Put your leg up. Put the other leg. Put the other leg.
Don't want to see a confident, beautiful fat woman in a bikini? Keep scrolling. Okay, now that they're gone, this is the bikini I got from Target, and I look gorgeous. Like, I feel hot as fuck. Like,
The one thing I don't understand is why people have to post this and show off their bodies and be like, I'm hot, look at me, I'm hot. Listen, brah. Like, I can look at myself and think I'm pretty neutral. Like, you know what? Like, honestly, if I wanted to, I could get on camera, show off my body, be like, hey, look at this, you know, oh, look at my dick. It's so big. Look at that. It's pretty massive, right? I'll be right back, okay? This annoys the fuck out of me. Sorry, I just wanted some more of my delicious drinky goodness while I broke this down. Okay, one thing I have to point out is, you know, if you're fat or you're skinny and you show off your body on camera, most of the time, you're asking for attention. This girl looks like she's asking for attention. They lack it in their real lives. And the other thing I have to point out is, you know, you showing off how beautiful you are as you state being beautiful, you know, most of the time, you saying you're something on camera and showing off your body like, I'm so beautiful, look at me, it comes off as incredibly insecure. And maybe it's just to prove a point that you're confident in your own skin, and that's great. But I find that most of the time, these kinds of people are super insecure. And I gotta say this, like, I don't really look at this girl and think, oh, she's hideous, but I don't really like her personality. I think that it's not a vibe. I think that it just lacks confidence. And the other thing I have to point out is the bikini, kind of cute. I kind of dig the color combination. You know, it's like a muted orange or like a, it's definitely like the color of a spice orange GameCube from Japan combined with like a seafoam green or something like that. It's not bad. But like the thing I have to point out is when you're going on camera and you're showing off your body and, you know, you're saying you're confident, it comes off as you not being confident or you trying to disprove maybe your lack of confidence or your lack of beauty. It's really weird. Like, I really am trying to find the line of logic with these people and why they always are showing their bodies off on camera. Because, listen, I can stand before you right now and say I look like whatever. I don't really care what I look like personally, you know? But if I were to hypothetically just stand in front of you and give you my words, you'd probably think about me on the basis of the things that I say more than the way that I look. And sure, I know my swoop is always in your guys' faces, so it's hard to ignore. But if I hypothetically got on camera, you know, and I just start going like, look at my body, I'm beautiful, blah, 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 look at my muscles, they're so big, blah, 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 look at my socks, they're so red, Quentin Tarantinoism right there too. Like, dude, it comes off as insecure. It comes off as fucking weird. And maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's because, like, I don't understand why people are so obsessed with each other's bodies or their own bodies. Even though we've all been obsessed with our own bodies before, I just have to point out, like, I don't understand why people are so freaking insane about this. I just think it's silly. I think it's goose pops, and it ain't a vibe, alright? Even if the bikini is cute, it is not a vibe. Didn't even know they could have that at Target, okay? But you know what? I'm not playing. It ain't a vibe.
Here's it from the side and the back.
And he took my fucking pasta, guys. He says he was gonna pay for it, but he fucking took the pasta. Because I didn't eat it all. I didn't eat it there, so he took it. He took the fucking pasta. Who takes the fucking pasta that I fucking ate? Literally, I fucking hate him, man.
I'm gonna say this because pasta is one of my favorite fucking foods. I don't care about anything. Fuck what people say and do to me. If they take my nudes, my spaghetti nudes, I will destroy them. I'm not even kidding. If somebody legitimately, involved themselves in the theft of delicious consumables from me, I would literally lose my mind, my dudes. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm Greek-Italian. My blood is basically tomato reduction, and my bones are made of cannellini, alright? So I'm just saying, I can vibe with this. I would agree 100%, and this does not belong on a cringe compilation, okay? She needs to be heard. Nobody understands the plight of noodle theft until they've dealt with it. This person commented, maybe put down the fork.
Being a cunt on purpose to troll. But this is genuinely not the rarest of opinions. People would genuinely rather see fat people starve themselves and make themselves unwell than exist as a fat person. If you're fat, you should exercise more. I already exercise. Okay, then stop eating. At what point do we accept that you just want someone to hate?
I hear the music in the background, but I don't know what is being played. And I'm sure I'll get copywritten on the video because, like AI overlords or whatever. But, like, I really wish I knew at the moment what that music is. Other thing I have to point out is, yes, people will always move the goalposts. They'll always change their standards. Once you can meet a standard or you point out that you're doing something and you prove that you're doing something, they'll just move the goalpost, basically. And they'll say, well, you're not doing this also. I can understand this. I've had people tell me to do the carnivore diet because I was doing my carnivore cringe series and kind of calling out the fact that people are eating rotten meat from jars, and that's a really big thing in the carnivore community. You can say otherwise, but it is. But if I were to hypothetically do the carnivore diet for a week, people would be like, you didn't do it right, you didn't eat like beef liver or tallow or something, you ate all the other things carnivore, but you didn't eat this specific carnivore food. And hey, at the same time, you only did it for a week instead of a month or 2 weeks. Or you didn't do it for 6 months. Or you didn't do it for a year. And hey, blah blah blah, it didn't work for you, you were doing it wrong. People move the goalpost all the time. They'll say like, oh, you weren't eating high meat, fermented meat that's rotting in a jar for like 4 months. Oftentimes, it can be the same thing on the vegan side, not trying to just diss all vegans. You can do a vegan diet pretty healthily, but at the same time, people fail the vegan diet and they do the same thing. They start moving the goalpost around. When they say, oh, all you have to do is these things, somebody does it and they don't have that diet work out for them, then they get chastised. And, it's the same thing with, being ethical. Sorry I'm going off, but I've also remembered that, given that I was vegan for a really long time, a lot of vegans are like, well, you're not vegan if you eat sugar because it's processed with an animal byproduct at times, known as bone char. Or, hey, you're not vegan if you, buy a vegan burger from a restaurant that isn't vegan and doesn't support entirely a vegan menu. Or you're not vegan if you keep the leather shoes that you owned when you were not vegan and you haven't bought more, but you still own the other ones. There are all these little things that people will do to kind of belittle, like, you doing things the way you're doing. Sometimes it's justifiable and sometimes it's not, and it's a little subjective and all over the place. But I agree. In regards to you being overweight, people will say, you're not doing enough, you're not working out enough, you're not exercising properly, you're not, eating a proper enough diet. And maybe you aren't, but from your perspective, you are, so it feels like they're moving the goalpost. Either way, you can't satisfy the world. You can't satisfy an audience of people. The only person you can satisfy in life is yourself, and you should always endeavor to do so. If you think you're doing 100% of everything you need to do in your life, that is amazing, fantastic. So it just depends, and I'm not trying to say this person's wrong. They're actually a little bit right. I just think that we really need to understand, like, what are you actually doing in your life that is causing this judgment, or what is your justification given the things that you do versus the things that people are telling you to do. There's a balance here. And I just hope that we find that.
Dating a big girl is like opening a bag of chips in church. People might look at you funny, but deep down, they want some chips too.
That was kind of cute. I don't know why. I don't even hate that. It's kind of cute. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's a cute little southern dame. I'll give it to her. Those Cool Ranch Doritos? Ah, fuck, they are Cool Ranch Doritos. Dang, dude, those slap. Those slap the booty cheeks. Okay, you know what? She is a little Cool Ranch Dorito. This dame is a Cool Ranch Dorito, okay? I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. I know I'm biased because she's being adorkable, but, like, I kind of dig it. And also, the Southern Belle voice really doesn't help me, like, not be biased.
Everyone should be a fat liberationist.
No.
It's really quite simple.
It is to not be as well. It's completely subjective.
Everyone in a society that has the system of fat phobia within it, which is most westernized or colonized areas, is going to be negatively impacted by fat phobia and anti-fat bias. Depending on how small or large you are, the fat phobia and anti-fatness will affect you in different ways and will have different material realities. But no matter your size, fat liberation benefits you.
I'm not gonna lie, bruh. I don't think it's that deep. I personally am more worried about other things than worried about being fat or being worried about the spectrum that is obesity and how it affects you in different ways based on your size and discrimination and the rate of discrimination per size. I personally think we're all equal until we act like idiots, and then we're trash. I personally don't ascribe to the systems of being fat phobic and all that stuff, but I also don't believe in fat liberation because I think it's all fake and wastes all of our time with falsified social justice issues when people are actually, like, suffering with significantly worse circumstances, like, you know, childhood poverty or something like that. Like, I'm way more concerned about the youth and the people who have no control over the system they're born into than this person who's just complaining about being fat and wanting the world to support them.
Imagine what it would be like if we were all liberated from the idea that our bodies have to be smaller or look a certain way in order for us to live our best lives. Imagine if everybody could wear what they wanted to wear without having to worry whether or not they'll be able to find it in a store near them or not. Imagine
that doesn't really make that much sense at the end there because all bodies are going to be different. Some bodies, no matter the body weight or the shape and all that stuff, like, not every body is going to fit into every single piece of clothing. So I don't really understand exactly where they're coming from there. There's a pretty vast clothing selection in most places these days. And also, the market of plus-sized clothing is expanding ever so greatly. So I'm not really sure what they're going off about.
Spending your time worrying about anything other than your body.
You know what's so ironic about that last statement, by the way? It seems like the people on the fat end of things, like the obese end, the people who are into fat acceptance and haze and all that stuff, they seem way more obsessed with their bodies than I personally am and than other people I know are. And I'm one of those people who obsesses about their body. Like, I'm one of those people who's more like, you know, vanity riddled, you know, body obsessed than some others who really just do not care. But I just think that people who are really obsessed with their bodies tend to ironically be the people who come from the liberate the body front, the fat liberationists here. So I think it's ironic that they're going off about other people being obsessed with their bodies when their entire movement is based on physical embodiment. I'm just saying.
Imagine spending your time worrying about anything other than your body.
Just a reminder, you do not have to be skinny to be pretty. You do not have to be skinny to be pretty. Fuck these societal standards. Fuck everybody making you feel like your body is not good enough. Fuck the bras. Don't wear fucking...
I hate bras. Outside of everything in this compilation, the one thing that I completely agree with is that bras suck. Sometimes you need them for working out, but overall bras suck. And the other thing is, being beautiful or being considered pretty is subjective. Anybody can be considered pretty or not pretty because it's based on individual perspective, and it just depends on who is interpreting your looks. And when it comes to being fat, again, you can be considered beautiful or like ugly, depending on the individualized perspective here. I find that it doesn't really matter. You can look good or look bad to a ton of different people, no matter what the circumstance. It just depends on who you're interacting with or who is looking at you. So overall, I would say, yeah, sure, I agree, but also it's because anybody can agree or disagree based on their perspective. Anyways, that's the video, my people. Tell me what you think in the comments below, and do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? Also, if you do want to see that extra video, check it out on Patreon. I'm currently working on the merch line. That's a vibe. I actually had some merch banned from Teespring because it was naughty. And also, pardon the background. I know I've got a bunch of workout equipment back there, but I don't really know what to do with it at the moment, so yeah. Anyways, that's the video, my people. Tell me what you think of the setup. Do you like it a little bit more? Do you think the lighting is better? What do you think? And yeah, that is it. So I will see you next time, and it has been lovely. Slater.